All right, so as we know, Tom Aspinall, if you saw his video yesterday, went to the doctors and the doctors has confirmed that he's got some issues with his eyeballs, okay?
There's talk of surgery on the eyes. We've got to see how it goes over the next few weeks. Obviously, that's down to the specialists and stuff, but I'm not in the gym training at the moment.
He's got some soft tissue damage to the eyeballs, and that will happen when a 6'6" Frenchman sticks both of his fingers knuckle deep into your eyeballs, okay? So that's not surprising. But what is surprising is that he has something called Brown syndrome, which basically is where the eyes aren't moving in tandem with one another. So therefore, the eyes, which are basically cameras, right, for your brain, in case you don't know, they're seeing different images. And when you see different images, you see double, or maybe sometimes the brain cuts out one of the images so that it doesn't get confusing and you don't get headaches and stuff like that. And then, of course, when you're only seeing through one eye, you have problems with depth perception. So, of course, he's been advised that he can't fight yet. Now, that's a real shame because Tom should want to get back in there ASAP. He does want to get back in there ASAP. Remember, he said on this video, he spent 6 months training for this fight.
You train your ass off for 6 months for a fight, then to get double eye pokes, be left with no vision for nearly 6 weeks. How do you think I feel? Not feeling fantastic, am I?
It's the first real undisputed heavyweight title match that he was a part of, and he got robbed of it in one round through no fault of his own. Now, in the video that he put out there, he said that Ciryl Gane did this on purpose. And he highlighted a few areas where the fingers were kind of outstretched. And yes, he was poked in the eye before, and then he had the double eye poke. So he said that Ciryl Gane did this on purpose. The whole plan was to try and, I forget the exact wording, something like, limit his ability, put him at a disadvantage so he couldn't fight as well.
Watch the fight back. That's when I really got the gist of what's going on. The guy was trying to poke my eyes out all the way through that round.
Now, obviously, Tom's the one living through this. Tom's the one that's getting absolutely slaughtered online. And Tom's the one 6 weeks later still having to go to the doctor and still can't train and do any kind of combat. So he's the man that's living with this, okay? So you understand you kind of will get emotional. You will be pissed off and you will think that Ciryl Gane was doing that on purpose. I still don't, okay? I don't think Ciryl Gane did that on purpose. What you want to do is crack someone in the face. And when the hands are out, when you go to grab, if someone comes in to take you down or whatever, sometimes that happens. That's why this whole rule of the fingers being up, not allowed there, but they're allowed there, is stupid.
This is number one bullshit.
Because what happens when someone comes forward and you got to grab them, because you can grab, you're allowed to in the rules, fingers go haywire, go into eyes. Make a fist, make a loose fist. It's not hard. That's all that's going to happen. But anyway, so Tom's saying that, and he's getting absolutely slaughtered online. A lot of people are talking shit. Okay, all you've got to do is Google his name, look on Instagram, look on Twitter, and some of the comments are just ridiculous. I'm not going to go through them one by one because, number one, there's just too many of them, right? But most of it is people that have never fought a day in their life. They don't understand. And either they're just fans of Jon Jones, they're fans of Ciryl Gane, or they're just haters. The world is full of it, certainly online and certainly on Twitter, right? There's a lot of it. There's a lot of shit out there. And you've just got to ignore that, right? And try and focus on the positive. It's like Happy Gilmore said, harness the good energy, block the bad.
Is it always like this with the TV cameras and the people and stuff?
Oh yeah, a lot of pressure. You gotta rise above it. You gotta harness in the good energy, block out the bad. Harness, energy, block, bad. Feel the flow, Happy.
Easier said than done, and it's easier to get a thicker skin like I have over the years when you've been in the spotlight for 20 years. Tom's still relatively new to this, and 1 minute is the belle of the ball. The next minute, everyone online is talking. Okay, and that's a hard thing to deal with. You got to remember, yeah, he's a big, gigantic dude and he's the heavyweight champion of the world, but deep down inside, he's still only a human being. And it seems like the entire fan base has turned their back on him and they're talking crap. Okay, so yeah, it doesn't feel good. Like there's one right here. Tom is the most overrated fighter in UFC history. It's just absolutely laughable. This guy is becoming an embarrassment. Bro's going out so sad. He's lucky he doesn't have to fight me. I mean, that one's just laughable, isn't it? And there's all the memes and all the rest of it. And yeah, he was playing into it and he was talking shit about Jon Jones and he was rocking up with the duck everywhere. So you could say, it's how it goes, right? You get what you give. What's good for the goose is good for the gander, right? And if Tom's going to walk around with a little thing of John Jones and calling him a duck and all the rest of it, then now it's his turn to get a bit of shit. And then when he was walking around, he said, no more Mr. Nice Guy going forward.
Hey, when I come back, there is no more Mr. Nice Guy.
And that's what I want to see. That's what I want to see from Tom. Well, first of all, what I want to see is that I want to see him back. Now, doesn't sound like he's going to need surgery. Who knows? Maybe down the line, maybe the eyes don't make an improvement and he does need surgery. And if he does, it's not like a major career-ending thing. I saw a lot of people online saying that, oh, this could be a career ender. It's not like a detached retina surgery that I had, right? It'll just be a rather simple surgery where they just alter the muscles. It's like Callum, my son, he used to have a lazy eye, right? So they tighten up the muscles on one side because it's kind of like a pulley system. They tighten them up and then they're then in line and they're moving in sync, okay? You're seeing everything perfectly. It's a standard routine thing. It's not going to be a career threatener. It's not going to be the end of his career. He's still going to be able to fight. But if he does have to have surgery, right, then that will be a shame because you don't want anyone going in there and operating on anything if you can't help it, and certainly not the eyes. And then if he gets poked in the eye and then he has to have surgery, and then when you get back in the octagon, it might change you a little bit subconsciously because you're like, every time you go to close the distance, you're like, whoa, you're having PTSD from some knobhead sticking the fingers out. Some of the comments that I did see is that the referees need to take a point when the fingers go out, and anytime there's an eye poke, there needs to be a point deducted. That is an absolute fact. But going back to this thing, what Tom said, no more Mr. Nice Guy. That's what he needs. He needs to start telling everyone to go themselves. Simple as that. Don't come online and show the doctor's notes. I understand why he wants to do that because he wants to say, look, 6 weeks later, the doctors still say that I'm not fit to fight. But all one is doing in that situation is playing into the narrative of the haters, playing into this narrative that you're a victim, showing the world, that everyone, that you're vulnerable. You don't have to do that. We all saw you get poked. They were deep. They were double eye pokes. They were all the way down into the knuckle. It was a shame. It's a bloody travesty that happened, right? Just come back and whoop some ass. And along the way, take no prisoners. Sure, say Ciryl Gane did it on purpose. Call him a pussy because you're going to step foot in an octagon and you're going to get to fight the guy. Say, I am going to absolutely marmalize you. I'm going to make you pay for being the cheating bastard that you are. And it seems like the gloves are off to a certain degree. Not off to the extent that the fingers are going to be exposed. But yeah, the gloves should come off. And they should come off for everyone. Because when you want the crowd to like you, when you beg the masses to like you, to get behind you, to get on board, they don't do that. That's not how this works in social media and fandom throughout TV and sports and all the rest of it. When you want to be liked, when you're trying to show that, listen, I'm the victim here, for some reason, it just turns people off. You've got to be the guy that doesn't give a damn. That's what people like. That's what they respect. When you step in the octagon, do all your talking there. Don't address this anymore. Yes, he's doing a big interview tomorrow, I heard, and he's going to come on there and he's going to show more doctor stuff, and he's probably going to talk about how he was annoyed at certain comments and things like that. Just ignore it all. Just ignore it all. Get healthy, right? Then come back and whoop some ass. If you can. Ciryl Gane isn't an easy guy. And that first round wasn't the easiest, but it was the first round. And Ciryl Gane, yeah, stuffed some takedowns. So therefore, everyone had this narrative that, Tom was looking for a way out. Absolute garbage. He wasn't looking for a way out. Ciryl Gane took him out of the fight. I'll end on this. It was troubling to see that he's still having damage, and I know firsthand how that is. Granted, I don't think it's that serious, although the fact that 6 weeks later he's still not cleared for competition, that is alarming. First thing he's got to do is listen to the doctors. Do not rush anything. The man's still young. He's in his prime. He's not on borrowed time. He's still got years ahead of him. Listen to the doctors. Come back, whoop some ass, take the gloves off. No more Mr. Nice Guy. Tell everyone to go themselves, knock some people out, and this whole escapade will be behind him. Doing interviews and showing the receipts and showing the doctor's appointments and all the rest of it, I don't think that's the way forward. I really don't. But anyway, What do you think? Number one, Tom, I hope you're well, mate. I hope the eye is back to 100% health very, very soon, because we all want to see you back in the octagon. But what do you think about everything what I just said? What do you think about everyone's response online? And when do you think finally we will get to see this rematch? Thanks for watching. Subscribe and ring the bell. See you soon.